You gave a knock?
Yeah, you better turn it down.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry about that. Our neighbors, the people with the gym, were doing their and I just said it's 11:30. We had to give them a quick knock on the door because it sounds like the entire building is going to crumble from the ceiling down with the yeah, the broom on the ceiling with the amount of noise and vibration coming in while I'm trying to do a live show. Good morning. Wow. And the dropping of the weights. Are you familiar with the dropping of the weights? Just like doing something with weights and then boom, dropping them. Good morning, everybody. That was a bit stressful. How are you? Let me see who's here. They've always promised me they're going to be done by 11:30 on our time, so I can get going with my show. So that was a thing. Heather, good to see you, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Heather helped me so much this weekend. She came on Saturday. I tend to be the kind of person who creates chaos and lives quite comfortably in chaos, and it's not always the most sort of practical way to work. So Heather came this weekend, and she went through the entire second room here with just crazy hoarding stuff. There could have been like a TV show being filmed at the same time. It was quite bad. She got me super organized with labels of things and where things go, shelves. And thank you so much, Heather. And you're coming now. You're coming in a little while with your grandson. So my kids are going to be. I'm going to go pick them up, and they're going to have a fun day today, which will be nice. Cynthia, good morning in San Antonio. 80 degrees. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. Gosh, everything is so extreme right now, huh? And Donna, good morning. How are you in Canada? Joelle, good morning. Also Canada. Robin, happy Tuesday to you too, and your excellent hair. I'm struggling with mine. As you can see, it's the Bride of Frankenstein, even though I dyed it like 3 days ago. Sheila, good morning in Benton City, Washington. How are you? Martha, good morning. An above zero day in Ontario too. April, good morning. How are you? And Linda in Massachusetts, good morning. Mom, good morning. 42 degrees in Granby. Yep, it is a nice day here. It's not super sunny where I am in Bethany, Connecticut, but it is warm and mild. I didn't even have a coat on when I left the house. That pendulum just keeps swinging very far to both sides. Catherine, good morning and greetings. I hope you saw I put up the link if you're interested for our dyeing class. I had it set on private by accident, and now I've switched it so just the people who took the dyeing class in February can look at that video and access it and refer to it again and again. Amber, good morning. I have more rugs to show. I started showing a lot of the Adopt Me projects that I'm going to be putting up. I'll have to put up the link. The link already exists, and today, as I photograph some stuff, I'll put up some links for the Adopt Me projects I started showing you yesterday. Amber has dibs on a few of them already, and I have a lot more. So there's going to be a lot. And those are all going to appear on the Ribbon Candy Hooking site. I forgot to say I'm Deanna with Ribbon Candy Hooking, and this is our daily show, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then Friday, our cocktail night, of course. And on Wednesdays, we Zoom. Linda B. Oh, Linda B. Today you're there. Oh, still snow falling in New Jersey. Oh, man. All right. I'm sorry about that. Maybe the sun is headed your way, or at least milder temperatures. I love the weather report. Yeah, I know. It's interesting to know what's going on. It's been so similar, too. Crystal, good morning. I know. Cheers to you, too. Coffee cheers. I wish I had my coffee cup, actually. Chrissy, good morning. Good to see you. I see you a lot on now. I'm happy to see you. That makes me real happy. Very unusually warm day, warm spell in northern Alberta. Yep, it's crazy, but it's welcome, right? It's a gift. Lori. Oh, Lori, good to see you. I sent your stuff out and Joy's stuff out. So, oh no, that's Lori Paul. I'm sorry, wrong Lori. It was the Klimt stuff that I forgot to send. Wrong Lori. Lori, happy Tuesday. Good to see you. I always have in my head all the things I need to do. It's like a hornet's nest in my brain. Brandy, good morning. Great to see you. And Cindy, good morning. Oh, I'm glad. Magby VG in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. That's right, you were on the other day. Great to see you. Slapper, good morning. Gray in Toronto threw out some junk and it feels great. Doesn't it feel good to weed stuff out? Now, you're not going to regret it this afternoon, right? You're not going to have to run out to the curb and get it again. It does feel great. It does feel great. It's that whole, is it, or is it just me? The fear that as soon as you throw something away in 6 months, it's going to be the very thing you want. And you're going to be looking on eBay. I shouldn't even say it. I'm sure it's good to streamline, and it feels great to loosen stuff up around you. Yeah, Linda, I hope it stops soon too. You know, this delay, it was brought to my attention yesterday. Oh, good Lord, you got clamped. Make sure you have your the flannel-backed foil strips in it. There should be a bunch of the metallics in there. Hopefully, I didn't pack yours on the day that I had the brain lapse. It was brought to my attention yesterday that at the end of every video, because of the time lapse, I suddenly end in the middle of a, just kidding, in the middle of a sentence. So now that I know that that happens, when I end the video, I guess I'll just sit there for a minute and wait before I hit end stream. Otherwise, I guess everything at the end gets cut off. It's all nonsense, but still, it'd be nice if it was a little, more edited. So, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Good to see you. Completely lost my train of thought. I want to show you a few more fun things that I got out of that haul. I also wanted to say to Lisa, if you're on and you haven't written, Lisa's asked me about 100 times for 2 patterns that I am super, super remiss in not having put up already. And I always ask you, please, if you can think of something that I said I was going to do and I didn't do it, it's only because I'm boobing it up and I forgot or I got distracted or something happened. But I really appreciate it. Stay on me always with stuff because I cannot be trusted. When I say I'm going to list something, I always mean to, and then I get pulled in a lot of different directions. So I'm putting these 2 patterns up for Lisa today. I didn't finish them myself, but they're still going up. This one from last fall, if you remember, I did a video on this one. I should have unrolled it earlier. But I remember I drew this pumpkin straight onto the backing in one of the videos, and then I just started hooking it. So it's just a real simple jack-o'-lantern, one of those vintage Carrie jack-o'-lanterns. I drew the background, so I'm going to make a pattern for this after coffee time and put it on there. Just a bunch of leaves and stuff I drew right in. But I really feel the part that I did, it turned into be a good pattern. And I remember while I was working on it, I was watching that movie with the... it was like a Disney movie with witches. It had, I think, Sarah Jessica Parker in it, something like that. It's funny how when you look at something, you remember what the rest of your brain was doing while you were hooking. And this one, which I still haven't finished, is also going up today. Almost finished my soup. And I'll certainly post when I do finish this one, my alphabet soup. Remember, this is from like a month ago. I still haven't gotten there. So those 2, alphabet soup and the jack-o'-lantern, I got to think of a name for him. Those are going to go up this afternoon. And if you feel like there's something else that I meant to put up that I forgot to put up, please give me a nudge. I will never take it badly. I will never take it badly. I try not to take things badly and personally, but I have to say, I've gotten a couple of messages over the weekend about how, people writing like, I love your video, but can they be like super short, like 2 minutes? And, it's like some videos are under 5 minutes, but some subjects are so vast, like finishing a rug, making a footstool. I don't feel that one can describe the process of doing it in a nutshell. It doesn't aggravate me. I want to be able to put out videos that are super short, but when the material is enormous and shapeless and there are so many things that must be said, it sometimes feels impossible to put out very short videos on huge, vast subjects because there's so many nuances, there's so many pratfalls, and you want to say all those things before someone falls down the pratfall. So, yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I'm doing my best on getting some short videos out there. I guess I have the opposite feeling personally when I see a hugely long video on a subject I'm interested in. My first thought is like, oh, it's like I'm taking a class at the community college, but for free, and I can chip away at it like a little chipmunk, like here and there. But I know different formats for different people, so I am trying to work on some shorter videos too. There's lots going on. Sharon, good morning. Good to see you. That's right, Linda. My dad used to say you can please some of the people some of the time. You can please like most of the people, most of the whatever, but you can't please all of the people all of the time. And it will never be that way. So lots of information, but I am working on some shorter ones because I appreciate not everybody has a ton of time. But again, I can't, for myself, I can't put out videos where I feel like I've given you 1/100th of the information. And as soon as you start, you're going to trip up because then I feel like you'll never trust me again. You're going to say, well, why didn't you tell me to trim the edges? That was like the next thing that I was going to encounter that was going to trip me. It's hard. It's a fine line. But anyway, let me show you what I was doing a little bit of last night. I'm loving working on my bird. This is just my favorite thing so far. This is going to be the March kit. Again, it's going to come with tons and tons of charms. I chipped away a little bit at it. Remember, it's this little picture that I drew and I got started with, this little guy. And chipped away at his body. I only had a little bit of time. I put a few of the little eggs in the nest. I got going on the bottom of it. So I've got I went from the bright, bright, bright pinks and I'm getting into the corals, and it's going to go lighter and lighter and lighter until it's like that angel skin coral color at the top. I got the bird in, he's graphic looking, his eyes not in, his beaks, his legs are not in, and I got the coral colors going around his tail. Thanks, Crystal. I'll have to do both. I'll have to try to please half of the people half the time. I've got to figure out what the ratio is. And it's tough. It's tough because I get a lot of feedback. But I know the core group that's always with me, that's always here. I know that you use a lot of the information because you tag me in your videos and you tag me when you finish something. So I know I'm helping my core group. And that's what's really important to me is a sort of alliance and an allegiance to this group. And other people who pop in over the internet who come and go or just want 5 seconds of my video to use for something of theirs and never return. I'm less interested in those situations as I am in our group and making sure everybody's good and everybody knows what they're doing and everybody has fresh ideas. So the bird Shiny Things is coming along, and you know what else I'm putting into the bird kits besides all the charms I described yesterday? All like vintage crazy charms, a bunch of these candies that I showed you last week, because I did get a bunch of emails saying I like those candies and I can't get those candies. A couple of people in Canada wrote, Anita, you were having this problem. Another person was having the problem that in Canada, it was hard to find on Amazon, these particular ones with the many colors. So in this thing for that crazy bird's nest with all the charms, you will get a bunch of these candies and you can eat them and then use the wrapper. They're not poisoned or anything. They're just nice Italian candies. So I finished off the palette for that, and I've got these really peachy. Remember how they all have color breaking on them? That's one of the things I was fooling with this kit. Those are the peaches. These are the pinks I ended up with. I had a lot more, but there's some crossover there, as you can see, between the peach and the pink, and the two real bright ones on top. And then a ton of these. This isn't nearly. I mean, there's going to be 20 different of these, browns and check, all browns and checks to put in there. It's going to be crazy different colors, but all browns and creams and straw colors. And then the lime green for the corners, the robin's egg, and then the blues. So those are the colors that I'm at, and I think those are the colors I'm going to stick with. And I have to say, what I really love about doing this bird, this Shiny Things pattern, is that I'm not using a cutter, and I'm just using my scissors. And it just makes me think, thanks, Sharon. It just makes me think, I'm not like a purist, and I haven't invested in having sheep and doing the whole cycle of things, although you could kind of bet that I will be sooner or later. But for this moment, I'm not a total purist. I like things to be easy, and I like things to be fast, and particularly when I make as many kits as I do, they need to be kind of fast. But at the same time, it has been so nice sitting with an expensive pair of scissors, which will never be as expensive as a cutter, as a wool cutter, sitting with a nice pair of scissors on the couch, cutting as I go. Oh, I need a thick one here. Cut it real thick, like what would be a 10 or a 15, like real thick. And then I need a real thin one here, and then I cut a real thin one. And there's something really satisfying about cutting as you go, whatever strip you want. And it doesn't cut them evenly. And you can't tell. Of course you can't tell. Once they're in there, you can't tell at all whether it changes shape or your hand is perfectly steady. And it doesn't matter. The colors are going into the places that they're supposed to be going to. And, I have to say, it is satisfying. It is satisfying doing different widths. And I think it is giving it the look of an older piece because it doesn't have that perfect uniformity. It has the imperfection of size differences and height differences, and being able to cut the piece with the scissors and going, I'm going to take this piece now because it's got a lot of color breaking on it, and I could use a little pop right in that corner. and then flipping the thing over and saying, for the next piece, I'm going to do just a real solid piece that's a little bit on the pale side. And to be able to make those choices as you go and see the thing evolving color-wise as if you were painting it and saying, yeah, now I'm kind of feeling a pull toward coral. So let me get out the coral piece and cut a little piece of that. It's a nice change for those of us who are so used to constantly cutting our strips and having everything set out for us. It's nice to sort of hook as you go. So this kit, this is what this kit is all about. As I say, it's going to come on linen so that you can put quite wide pieces in if you end up, and it's going to come uncut unless you request it to be cut. I'll remind you that. But I'm really enjoying it, and it's a lot of fun. So let me show you, before we get too far in, a couple more of these rugs that I picked up this weekend when I went to New York, and I had this wonderful time talking and learning a little bit and more to learn. And I haven't even gone through all the patterns yet. There's tons of patterns. And I just wanted to say, when I start listing the patterns, they're going to be, they're Pearl McGowan, they're Jane Olsen, they're older patterns, older names, Joan Moshmer. I'm going to price them at like 10 to 15. I'm not going to price them at 30, 35, 45 like you see on the buy and sell. I'm not doing that because I'm not talking about the partially finished ones. I'm talking about the unbegun ones, the brand new ones. Because they're all on burlap, and I know that you're going to have to, I would recommend that you transfer them onto something else. So anybody that buys those patterns, I plan to, unless you don't want me to, include in it a piece of the fiber tape, right? That sticky fiberglass stuff that is not dangerous to touch, or, I mean, don't eat it, obviously, disclaimer, but it's not dangerous to touch at all. I'm going to include a piece of fiber tape over your pattern, with your pattern, if you get those patterns from me, so that, oh, thank you, so that you are ready to go. That is so nice. Thank you so much. Jay just brought me a coffee, and it's in one of my signature cups, the Devil's Punch Bowl. That's one of my designs. I love this one, Devil's Punch Bowl. I always thought it would be a great name for a British pub when I lived in Britain. Yeah. I forgot what I was saying. That was so exciting. So I will include in all of the patterns a piece of the fiber tape that fits the pattern, so you can just immediately trace it with your Sharpie and put it on a different backing. Because I know that with that fiber tape, when you buy it, you need to buy the giant, giant, giant roll. And it's like between $25 and $40 for many, many, many feet. Endless. But not everybody wants to spend $25 on something this big that they need. So all of those, once I get them on, will come with the transfer stuff. And then you just transfer it onto your backing. And it gives you a good chance to see how easy that is. And I do have a couple of videos. One of them is under 5 minutes for sure, because I downloaded this stuff to speed it up. They're nice patterns, Linda. There's like the classic like meeting house. There's a bunch of Pearl McGowan landscapes and Christmas patterns. You know how she did one every Christmas. There's some really exotic ones. There's a lot of florals and Jacobean and crewel ones. I mean, it's a little bit of everything. I have to say, I was afraid it would be like all florals and scrolls, and it's very little florals and scrolls. There's a lot of ones that I haven't seen in there that are different and interesting, and I hope that they appeal to people, because I hope to sell them very, very low with the fiber tape, so you can get some confidence going with using that and buying older patterns and saving older patterns, right? It's like when you see all these houses going up all over the place, and you're like, well, wait a minute, look at those beautiful houses from the 1800s, 1700s on the same street that are absolutely beautiful and pristine. Those are already there, you know, use them if you can. Same thing with patterns, use them if you can, you know, if it speaks to you, use them. So let me show you for a couple of minutes. Fiber tape is a game changer. It really is. I mean, red dot is great, and light boxes are great, and all that stuff is great. But the fiber tape is a game changer. Even for very complicated patterns, I use it for even the Nancy Thomas patterns. I just get the foundation in, and then I add the lines, because 99% is there. It's a total game changer. You can get accuracy that you just can't get in other places. But I will warn you, when you're using that fiber tape, when you've got your thing over your backing, you have to first get the border of your backing and make sure it's squared. You don't want to just follow the lines of the design, because the design might not be perfectly squared on your backing. I always put the 4 edges in first, and then I lift up the fiber tape and just jiggle it a little so it's perfect. And then I trace the central design. But you have to make sure you do that, because if your border is not okay, it won't be okay. It's going to cause you a lot of grief and aggravation. So this is a runner that came out of this great, oh, stop it, there's a Devil's Punch Bowl. nature area in Ontario. So interesting. Isn't that funny? There's a Devil's Hop Yard here in Connecticut. Um, Devil's Hop Yard, and there's another Devil's thing. I read that there was a lot of things were named after the devil, at least in New England. I'm not sure about Canada. And it wasn't to sort of be pagan and honor the devil. It was to sort of satiate and satisfy the devil by naming something for him. And then the idea was he would leave you alone. So you name mountains, you name rivers, you name valleys, you name fields after the devil, and he's very pleased with that. And then he leaves you alone, and you can go on living superstitiously and having an easy life, not plagued by the devil. So that is an interesting thing. Okay, so let's look at this. This is one of the patterns I got. Let me see if I can back you up a little bit. This is a giant runner, and this is going to be an Adopt Me project. It's all of these are on burlap, but it's a giant runner, real pretty. Some serious hit or miss stuff going on here. And this is primitive. This is probably above an 8. This is probably a 9. This could be hand cut, which is nice. And it goes on and on. Being real careful with it here. And you can see that the guide is these squiggle lines, and you're just going through the squiggle lines. I'm being careful with this one because it's really big. It's a really long runner. I'll put all the sizes up. So she's done the beginning and the end of it. In the middle, she's done a lot of the squiggles, but not all of it. I'm going to put that down really gingerly because that is long. Now let's see what this one is. This is another real thick one. Let's see. Can you see how thick that is? This to me looks like it's ripped. That really looks like it's ripped, like a rip as you go party. So let's see. I don't even remember. Oh, yeah, this is a pretty one. Let's see. I think I have it upside down. You're going to see my belly. Sorry. All right. So it's a sheep. What is that? A sheep and a chicken. And very country, this one. Very country primitive. I can't see it. My glasses are too much of a magnifier, but you can hopefully see it. So that's the look of that one. I'll take some good photos. It looks like hearts, flowers, very pretty primitive chicken action going on. It's a good chicken, I have to say. It's a good chicken. It's going to make Buttons the dog want to kill something, huh? Just kidding. Just kidding. Where's the chicken? There he is. Pretty good, right? Good colors. So that's another one. Whew, and then there's some smaller ones, like this nice one. This is a Happy DeFranza design, and I love finding her stuff because, of course, I met her. This is one of these bricks that you cover the brick. I have to say I'm kind of bienvenue and welcome. This is good for us, being French and Canadian people mostly on this thread. I love these brick covers. They're so old-time. You see them needlepoint a lot, but you rarely see a rug-hooked brick cover. And why not? What a beautiful doorstop, right? Or something on the fireplace. This is a nice one. This is like a cut to number 3, Jane McGowan, little lighthouse scene. This is going to be an Adopt Me. Now, remember yesterday how I said sometimes you get, you see things that you haven't seen before. Now, I bet you all have seen this before. I hadn't. There are pantyhose tied to the edges of a lot of these pieces. And I'm assuming that's because the ladies were working on a lap frame and it was pulled this way, but nothing was holding it this way. So I'm guessing that they tied these to some kind of a rod to keep it taut. So just let me know if you have done, thanks, Linda. It was a good find. It was a long drive, but it was a good find. Let me know if you've done this kind of thing with pantyhose, because this is obviously a thing. She had done it with a lot of her pieces, and it's a thing, and she was a teacher, so she must have known what she was doing. I'm getting late again, aren't I? We might have to go to Rag Rugs tomorrow. This is another one on monk's cloth. This is a Jane McGowan. Beautiful. Central design is completely done. Now, there are no worms that go with this. The lady has tons and tons of worms, but she hasn't sorted them yet, and I'm going to end up going back for them, but it could be a thing to try to match them. I can certainly help you with that if you want to adopt one and you want a good head start like this. If it were me, I would just say, you know what, the whole center is done. The white is all done here. I would be really inclined to just pull out the bits of white here. I know that's like sacrilege, and just put a different color in the background, just for the sake of consistency, unless you have lots of colors and you feel like you can match stuff easily. I'll let you know if I end up going back to get the wool, but the thing is in my mind, if it was cut a long time ago, it might be a bit of a nest at this point. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how great it would be to hook with. We'll have to see. This is a pretty one too. This is a pearl McGown. It's actually 2 pieces. Let me pull this pin out. It's like one of these double ones here. So that's really well articulated already. And then there's this pretty, very Jacobean looking piece coming up out of it. Oh, wow. Look at this one. Holy molies. And she did do she attached either whipping or she attached bias to the end. Nylons help up the sides, help tension up the sides if it doesn't reach the frame. Yep, that's what I thought, just getting the side to be a bit more stretchy and using it that way. I just didn't think that, I mean, I know hooking with nylons and stuff like that, but I didn't think using nylons for tension would be that strong, but they must be quite strong because she's got the nylons tied on to so many of her pieces here. Interesting, right? Not something, I don't typically work on my Chetty Camp or any lap frame, so that was an interesting thing. So you can see this is got quite a lot going on. This is a beautiful floral rug. She's got a few of these pieces done, most of them not. She worked top to bottom, I guess. She's got down the other side. She's got a few pieces done again. She was really, really, she was a teacher, and she was the one that Pearl McGowan said, I don't think I can teach you anything. She was that good. Yeah, a list. I meant to post it on this. I'll post it on this video as soon as we hang up. They're going to be on the Ribbon Candy hooking site. There's an Adopt Me link on there now. And it's blank because I haven't had a chance to photograph any of these yet. But I will today as soon as I get the 2 orders I'm in the middle of. See, this is one that I really love, but I probably won't keep. This is the Meeting House one. Every time I see it, it sells really. Is this the Meeting House one? No, this isn't. Which one is this? Yeah, this is the Meeting House. As soon as I see it, it sells. It's one of these classic sort of New England Pearl McGowns with the spire and this big scene. Just beautiful, the Meeting House. Yeah, there's a lot of pearl and Jane. Oh, this is nice. Let's see what this is. This is Jane McGowan, Victorian House. Holy molies. Okay, let me get this thing off it. See, I have never seen this. Have you all seen this before? It's actually a house. She started to put some of the little details in. Boy, you could really personalize this, couldn't you, and put your pet in the window or whatever. So this is a Jane McGowan. And I want to remind you, these are all musty. Brenda, thank you for sending all those links yesterday for getting the musty smell. All the tags are still on them, too. Give me ideas for getting the musty smell out. So I'll share those, too. Brenda sent an email. She always sends the most helpful stuff with lots of ideas for getting musty smells out of old stuff, because it's not impossible. And it shouldn't be a deal breaker because the work is so beautiful. It's like paying homage to the person who started it. This is a mother and daughter, unknown artist, but she seems to have done the really hard part, which is the mother, the grown-up face. The daughter needs to be done. Oh, Amanda, I know. You know what? I could go a year without finding something like this. And when I went, it was because, it was on Facebook. It was because she had a few patterns in a box, and I couldn't tell what they were because they weren't photographed separately. So it was taking a chance because it was like $100 for patterns and then a handful of books that I already had. So it was taking a chance. But then when I got up there, I spent a heck of a lot more. But it was more. She had more boxes, more patterns. She had these partly finished ones. And, I'm always afraid that they're going to get thrown out or donated somewhere and be tossed. So it becomes really important in my mind, obsessively important, to be able to get them. And because I have such a good platform here with you, I feel like I'm in a good position to get things like this to the right people who will appreciate them and maybe are looking for them. Even little stuff like this, for a beginner, little stuff like this, working on something like that. That might be an upside down bunny. No, it's 2 little birds like this, right? And I also have that pattern. I also have that pattern undone. I think it's a Joan Moshimer. And then there's, we're going to go do our British books tomorrow. Oh, and then a third time, it's done like this. And look, Waldoboro again. You see the height? It's like this crazy feather tufting, but it's Waldoboro when it's rugs and when there's a background in place. Isn't that beautiful? And she's got like this multicolor edge on it, but she's already done the 3 hearts in Waldoboro on that one. So that just needs a couple of little hearts done. Doesn't have to be Waldoboro. And then the 2 little chickens done. So I have that in 3 different versions. And then I just want to show you one last thing. And I'm so sorry we didn't get to rag rugs today. Here it is. We'll get back to rag rugs tomorrow's Zoom. We'll get back to rag rugs right after. So this is a real curiosity to me. Chime in if you know the answers to this. Oh, Crystal says my grandparents used fishing rope to tie and pull for tension. Nylon seems so delicate in comparison. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It just seems like it might rip because it's not only a good pull to get it across, right? It's gonna be tugged upon every single time you put a hook through it. It's gonna feel that stress every single time. So I was just surprised that I guess I wouldn't expect the nylons to rip, but I would expect them to lose their stretch. But I mean, it must have done a well enough job that this woman who was a teacher and her mother, the grandmother, who was also like super, super pro, pioneer rug hooker, the fact that they both did that, there must be something to it. Oh no, did I just lose the screen? I just cleaned dust off. No. Now, this is what I wanted to ask you about. This is completely different. This was in the bucket, and this is a piece of needlepoint canvas, right? So this is not a rug hooking canvas. This is a needlepoint canvas. Now, check this out. This confuses me thoroughly. Needlepoint canvas, she's drawn her own design. You can see in the middle she's put in a little piece of paisley. You know how desirable antique paisley is, right? From like the 19th century, early 19th century, late 18th century. Proper paisley. She's got it in here and all cut out. She's got a little bit of interfacing behind it. Super fragile, but she's got it cut out. And obviously she meant to secure this down and work around it. But what mystifies me about this is she's got number 4 strips, and they're in needlepoint backing. This is needlepoint backing. This does not feel like rug warp, linen, monk's cloth, burlap, anything. I've done a lot of needlepoint. This is needlepoint backing. So I'm super confused about that because I did not know that you could run a number 4 through needlepoint backing. And she obviously is. She's not running it like rug hooking because she's got all her tails on the back. But this was just a real curiosity to me because I'd never seen anybody using this backing. Ooh, almost fell off my chair. I've never seen anybody use this backing for this. I can't imagine how this was working out. I might just stick my hook in and see if I can pull some loops up, and I'll let you know on Thursday. But this was the oddity in this big haul. I love the idea of the little piece of paisley in the middle because it is hard to hook with the paisley, right? It's like dust in your hands. But yeah, this whole thing really surprised me because you do see through the loops because it's a needlepoint canvas. You see between the rows and stuff. They're not going in real cushy and supporting each other like it would on a more flexible backing, like a traditional rug hooking backing. She might use an Oxford fine punch. Oh, do you think you could use an Oxford fine punch on needlepoint backing? Do people do that? I would love to know if they did because I would love to be able to say, yeah, use your needlepoint. Because you know how many people accidentally order the wrong backing for rug hooking and spend a lot of money? No, it doesn't look like it's punched at all. Doesn't look like it's punched at all. And there's even, this is certainly a number 3 here, but then there's a number 4. Oh, I see I got a message coming in. I haven't seen. Sent a message Monday. Carol sent a message Monday regarding supply list and vendors. Have not received an answer. Disabled needle pointer, but wish to get started with needle punching. Okay. Oh, that'll be related. Let us know how it goes, Carol. That'll be relatable. But yeah, no, it doesn't look like it's been punched at all. It looks like she was partway through. I'll see what I can do with what I just can't imagine what kind of tool she was using. I've got super, super fine rug hooks, so I'll give it a shot. But this was a proper mystery piece, and maybe it was just difficult. Maybe that's the reason why we haven't gone any further with this piece was because it was so difficult. She's got number 3s and number 4s in there. So let's figure that out. Let's figure that out when there's more time. She's also got this going on. Do you see this business up here? She's got some kind of a pattern in yellow. We could bring it right to the camera. Like almost like a long stitch, like a crewel. She's got like a long stitch pattern going, and it seems to be intentional because look on the back. She's pulled it in every now and then. Maybe she's working on some kind of sampler or something. Mystery. It's a mystery, but it was in the rug hooking thing. She's got her antique paisley She's got her wool strips, and she's just got a backing that I'm just not used to seeing. So let's see what we can find out about that. And I'll see if I'll leave this out. Let me see if I can work on a little bit and see if I can get any hook through that backing. Not that we're going to switch to needlepoint canvas, because that's like latch canvas. It's super, 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 super rough and inflexible. So we will have to return on Thursday to British rag rugs. I have so much to say about British rag rugs. And our Friday night cocktail night this week for sure is going to be about British rag rugs and British artists. I keep wanting to go to this subject because British artists are doing or have done in the 80s, 90s very different work than we see in Rug Hooking Magazine or we see in ATHA or that we talk about. They have done very different work that's much more creative, much more sort of spiritual in its approach, not religious spiritual, but like new agey kind of spiritual. They're doing very different work, and as I say, it runs parallel to the work that we constantly look at. My ATHA magazine came yesterday. Did yours? I'll look at that tonight, and I'll show you some of the better articles in it on Thursday. But I think definitely on Thursday, Friday, we're going to be talking about British rag rugs because for me, they represent a complete fusion of different materials, different styles, different techniques, almost like every piece is its own sampler, and no rules. And not that I'm a no rules person. I'm a big uptight person, and I do like rules. But with rug hooking, the no rules is kind of nice. It opens the playing field. Let's see. Carol said, need a list of supplies and vendors. Okay. Do you mean from me, Carol? Because I don't have any needlepoint contacts. I'm all rug hooking. I'm not sure if you mean with me. Send me a message if you mean with me because I don't have any new messages in my ribbon candy hooking box, but I have a lot of contacts that I give often that have to do with rug hooking, but not for needle work. Oh, you started with needle punching. Yeah, it wasn't you, Carol, but somebody had written this week about needle punching, and I realized pretty quickly that they were talking about the Russian punch, which is like the Valdani threads and the DMC threads that you separate for the very, very small scale punch, which is completely different than the Amy Oxford punch. It's still punch, but it's completely different supplies than you would use. And I do stock weaver's cloth for people that do the Russian punch, but typically I don't kit anything Russian punch, just as a side note, not for Carol, just as a side note, because the fact that there's two monk's cloths is confusing for people that are approaching, and the fact that there are two kinds of punch needle, also confusing. So anyway, I will see you all tomorrow. I will put in this link, if you give me just a minute, I'll put a link to the tab on ribbon candy hooking where all of these Adopt Me projects will appear, and I will populate that as I go on. I'm trying to get orders done too. And I will also put the link for our Zoom call tomorrow. So feel free to Zoom, whether you're working on a project, whether you're new, whether you want to put your camera on or not, whatever you want. Just, if you have the free time and you want to be there, just be there. You will find a nice group of people who are very happy to see you or not see you with your cameras off. And you are welcome to join in and ask questions or just observe and have some laughs. So that'll be tomorrow, 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, and I'll post the link to both of those things now. And I will say goodbye, and then I will sit here, freaky style, for a couple of minutes while the thread catches up to real time. So have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.